When you make yourself too available, your value in her eyes goes down. Hey guys, Coach Jason here. Got a little fog atmosphere today. Just testing some new things out, making it feel a little bit more of that old school film noir detective office, just to see if we're digging the vibe. And plus, Halloween is just around the corner, so I thought, hey, let's have a little fun here today. But today's topic is going to be about, like I said, when you're just too available, it gets kind of too much for women, and your value and their attraction for you tends to go down. And so today I want to share with you a couple of instances that I've had with clients that some of you may be able to relate to. And once they made this very, very small tweak, they saw what a difference it made in terms of the girl that they were seeing and the attraction that she had for him. So I've had a couple of clients in the past that when they first set up a date with a girl, they were texting every single day until the day of the date. And a lot of the times what would happen is that girl would cancel, saying things like, hey, something came up, not going to be able to make it. Or, hey, sorry, but, something else is going on this weekend and I got to go do this other thing. Sorry about that. And they don't really intend to reschedule, even if that particular guy were to ask, well, do you want to do it another time? They'd get back to them with wishy-washy answers like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted. And then never would hear from them again. So what is the deal with this? Because a lot of times you guys probably hear things like, I want to, girls say, oh, I'd like to get to know you over the phone a little bit more before we meet. And you're also coming from the angle of feeling like you've been programmed by society that you really have to be this guy that makes her feel safe, right? A lot of the code words and lingo that you've probably heard in your life from pop culture is this idea that a woman needs to feel extremely safe with you. And so it is up to you as the man, your duty to do everything that you can to make her feel very safe when she's in a very vulnerable position. Okay. Now I will say this, okay. I'm not going to pretend like that's not the case at all, but it's usually overblown. Okay. Safety is not, or feeling safe does not necessarily guarantee attraction. In fact, unfortunately, a lot of the times it lowers the attraction. So what happens when you do message a girl all week long before the date? Well, basically you become predictable, you become boring, and you overshare way too much stuff. So basically, you run out of things to say. The conversation dies before you've even met her. And, I've even gotten blasted on this channel from other guys in the comments about saying, hey, if you don't do that, a girl's not going to think that you're interested, or she's going to think that you're playing games, right? If you don't say something or keep in contact with her before and then after the date and letting her know day by day, keeping that open line of communication, right? That's another buzzword that I'm sure you guys have heard before. But the fact of the matter is, like I said, you run out of things to say for the date. And the other side effect that this has is it can make you look a bit needy, okay? A man who has not even met this woman, when you text every day, when you're having these long conversations, or even if you jump on the phone and are talking for an hour or two, what this signals to her is that you kind of don't have much going on with your life. And when something is readily available, what does that do to the value? Well, it goes down. For example, I'm interested in bourbons, and there are certain bourbons that are very rare. There's only one barrel of them. So to get that particular bottle, you're going to pay extra. But if you get the normal, everyday, common stuff, you can get that a dime a dozen. Any liquor store will have it, and no one really thinks twice about it. It's just, your typical Jack Daniels or whatever a common bourbon happens to be. But as soon as you reduce the amount of bottles, the value of that thing goes up. And I'm sure you guys know sneakers are the same. Comic books, action figures, trading cards, anything where it's hard to get a certain card, the value goes up. So think of this the same way as you would your time. When you're available every day, when you're constantly reaching out to her and you haven't even met, well, guess what? Your perceived value has now gone down because it's readily available. And even if she were to text you sometimes and you answer right away, you immediately respond to her. Well, again, you have nothing else going on, or at least this is what it's showing to her. You had nothing else going on, and your value slowly starts to drop over time, so that by the time of the date, she might be like, it's just not worth getting ready and going to meet this guy when I kind of already know his life story. He's spilled his guts to me all week on the phone. So it's like, what's the point of getting together with him? He's already kind of boring me, and I haven't even met him yet. And this is where a lot of guys will then reach out to me like, man, we were having such a great conversation, great chemistry. And then by the date, she said she couldn't do it. She ghosted me. Well, I hate to say it, but you did it to yourself because you were too fucking available. That's just the reality of it, okay? So in order to maintain your value, you need to be less available, right? When you set up a date, then get off the phone. There is absolutely no reason to continue talking every single day. And like I said, I've had clients who are guilty of this, and I've had to get on their ass about this because I'm like, dude, you're sabotaging your own success. She's interested in you. You line something up. Why in the hell do you keep on messaging her? What are you going to talk about on the date if you've already told her your whole damn life story? There's absolutely no mystery there. Okay? So obviously the fix here then, well, what do? You set up the date and then you don't talk to her until the day of the date. You save the interaction. You save the funny jokes, the charm, the wit for when you're sitting right next to her on the date, in person, in the flesh, so you can build attraction in person. You don't build attraction over the phone. Okay, so it's really a simple fix. But time and again, even in this day and age where, there are countless videos on attraction and how to meet women for dates, guys are still making the same old mistake. It's a classic, you're friend zoning yourself essentially, okay? Or you're ghosting yourself. You're making her ghost you by just being too dang available. There's something very, there's a great quote that says, women are attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. Okay. When a woman can't really tell what you're thinking, it triggers a little bit of anxiety. And that's not a bad thing. They wonder about you. Does he like me? Is he not interested anymore? What happened to him? I haven't heard from him. They start to wonder about you. And like I always say to you guys, a woman's imagination can be your best wingman. So let her mind wander a little bit and have confidence in yourself that, look, I set the date. I'm a man of my word. Boom. And a lot of the times women will reach out to you on the day and it's like, hey, are we still on? And when they do, you just be like, absolutely, I'll see you tonight. Quick and easy, direct to the point. Don't become one of those texting buddies, those phone pals who just end up getting friend zoned and ghosted. It's not a good feeling. I've seen it happen time and time again, and guys are really frustrated and then they start to blame the women. It's not about women being finicky. It's about you doing things that lower people's attraction. If you met a girl and she was blowing up your phone every single day, sending you constant selfies, telling her all about her day, had this sandwich, I had this cup of coffee, and you've never even met her, well, don't you think you'd be a little turned off too? Like, okay, I haven't even talked to this girl yet, and she's just like acting like my girlfriend. Well, that's the same thing, vice versa. It's like, this guy hasn't even met me yet, and he's just like overindulging. I had a guy once brag to me because he was frustrated, and he came to me and he was like, I don't know what's going on. I keep getting ghosted. And he's like, this girl the other week, we had a great conversation, talked to her, 2-3 hours on the phone. I was like, and you're bragging about this? Like, you think that's a good thing? Dude, I'm like, that's the worst thing that you can do. If you were to just have a quick conversation, just get to know each other, it should be about 10 minutes long and then hang up the phone. But instead, he was going on 2-3 hours. He did go on a date with her, but then she totally ghosted him after, and he was not getting the hint. He was messaging her. She would give him pity texts back, but it wasn't anything like you could tell that she was into him, because again, he was chasing. He was contacting her way more than she was contacting him. And this was the really embarrassing part. I had the secondhand embarrassment when he told me let's see here. He was in the neighborhood where she works, and he went to her work and texted her that he was there. And I was like, dude, that's like creepy. You don't even know this girl. And he just, again, because they had the long phone conversations and he was constantly messaging her, he just was like assuming like, hey, I'm already with her, so I'm just going to do all these things. And he's just, the neediness just oozed off of him. And even just talking to him, I'm like, dude, like I'm getting even a little uncomfortable here, because it's like your behavior does not reflect the type of man that you appear to be. Because this guy was quite good looking, seemed to be very successful career-wise. He's, a good-looking guy, kind of charming, good talker, but his behavior was like off. It was like, okay, you're acting super, super needy. There's something wrong there. And that's a reflection of your own personal self-esteem and your own self-worth, how you see yourself. And when you act like that, it kind of tells the world, hey, I'm not good enough. So I really got to like suck up, pedestalize, always be available just so I won't get rejected. And ultimately, sadly, that's what happens to a lot of these guys who do this kind of stuff, is they do get rejected. So scarcity does create value, and it's not about playing a game. It's just about, you don't know somebody yet. Why would you be giving them so much time and attention? When a woman earns it, you go on a date. She's sweet, she's kind, she's feminine, she's appreciative. You give her another opportunity to go on another date. And you slowly build it from there. And once she shows that she's investing, once she seems like, this is a good girl, and there are plenty of good girls out there, then, you can invest a little bit more. But even then, you shouldn't be chasing, and you shouldn't be bombarding them with texts every single day. Because even if it's your girlfriend, it gets too damn much. And so many guys these days use their girlfriend as sort of like this release valve for their emotions, and it pushes them away. Scarcity creates value, and you as a man should be focusing on your life mission and purpose, not pedestalizing her and chasing her around all day. It just makes you look unattractive. Attractive behavior is when you're focused on yourself and you're doing your thing. Then when you do get together with her, you give her your love, you give her your attention, you're totally present. Fulfill up her need to see you, because when you're off doing your thing, she's going to want to see you more and more and more. She's going to want to feel your presence because it's been absent. But if you're there every single day, it's like, again, it's getting a freebie at the grocery store. It's a little free sample. You get them every day. Don't cost you anything. You don't work for it. And so she doesn't have to work for your attention. She doesn't value it because she has it every single day. She takes you for granted, and she kicks you to the dirt, or she ghosts you. And, at the end of the day, it really is your fault. It's not a modern woman problem. This is human nature. This is a consequence of behavior. This would have happened back when I grew up in the 80s, okay? It has nothing to do with, they're just so entitled. No, this is just you're giving off weak behavior. You're acting needy. You look desperate. You look like you have nothing going on. There's no magic. There's no mystery. She gets bored, and she's out. Sorry to say, but that's just the reality of it. So if you're a guy out there who struggles with this, needs some guidance, a step-by-step strategy of how to interact with women, especially at the beginning of a courtship, trying to ask them out, get things going, get it so she's more into you than you are into her, then click that link down below and book a consult call with me. Okay, there's a free consult call. It's a chance for me to hear a little bit more about what you're going through, what you're struggling with, holding you back from getting what you really want. And if it seems like we would be a good fit to work together, then I will walk you through how my coaching works. All right, guys, that does it for today's video. I will see you in the next one.